So Bob was just talking about this survey of people in their 30s and 40s and the stuff they're just too old for. They're not going to do anymore. They're not staying at other people's houses. They're not going to concerts without tickets. They just don't want to do it. They're not going to do things. They're not going to watch things they don't want to watch. They're not going to do things they don't want to do. Well, this is a shameful confession, but and it would be different if we had gone to see it in the theaters. Kevin and I have been trying to watch Killers of the Flower Moon for so long now.
Yeah.
And it is a very good movie, but it's over 3 hours long. If you're in the theater and you've paid and you've got the popcorn and you've parked and you're in it, right? But when you're in your house, so the first pass at it, about 45 minutes in, I hit the pause button and said, can we finish this tomorrow? Because I'm just not feeling this right now. And I want to give this movie my full attention because all the performances in it are great. Lily Gladstone is amazing. I mean, when she's on screen, there's nothing else. She's just so hypnotic in this role. De Niro is good, playing like the De Niro kind of guy. DiCaprio is good, playing that character that he has played. He's very, very solid. It's unspeakable, the story, which is based on a true story. It's terrible, all the things that have happened. Lamar, have you seen Killers of the Flower Moon?
No, I've been meaning to take 2 weeks off and look and watch it.
Yeah. I feel terrible. And I'm in no way pleased to report that I cannot get through Killers of the Flower freaking Moon. I don't know the pacing. I don't know. I'm not saying it shouldn't be 3 hours long. Maybe it should be 8 hours long. I don't know. But there's something about this movie that I have a borderline allergic reaction to it. It's like the end of the day. It's about 8:30 p.m. And Kev will say, did you want to finish the Leonardo DiCaprio movie? Maybe tomorrow.
Is it kind of like kale? You're supposed to eat it and you're eating it, but you're going, I'm not really enjoying it.
I think it's true. I think part
Everybody
of it
says
is
it's remarkable. It is remarkable.
But it is not a comedy, and it is not, the classic Marvel action movie. 3.5 hours of really intense drama is a lot for most people.
Heartbreaking, true story.
Yeah. Totally, yeah.
It does feel, and what we've seen so far, we are a solid 1/3 of the way through Killers of the Flower Moon. Now we have been watching it since electricity was invented. We've just been watching it forever since it hit streaming. But what we've seen so far is, it's visually gorgeous and everything about it is A+.
And a story that needed to be told. And a story that needed to be told. Yeah.
And a story, I'm really fascinated with that chapter of our nation's history. So, I was primed to love this movie. And it just does feel a little bit like kale. I know that it's awesome and I'm consuming it, but there's a part of me looking around the room and going, you said this was your favorite thing on the menu, and I think you're lying. There's no way this is your favorite thing on the menu.
But you feel awful even thinking that, because you know that you need to embrace
shameful
the horror that these folks went through back then. It is a part of America's history.
I can embrace the history. That's not my issue. The movie feels very much and maybe it's just me. Maybe lots of other people are I was on the edge of my seat. Mm-hmm. It just feels like you have to pay so much attention. Again, this is a movie theater movie because once you buy that ticket, you're not getting out of that seat. And there's nothing to distract you from the movie on the screen. With Killers of the Flower Moon, you cannot have the phone ringing, a pet in your lap. You can't have any distractions. You must sit in a dark room, and watch this movie all at once. And that was the mistake we made. We should have gone to see it in the theater.
She's done it again. Sheri Lynch named one of the most influential women in radio. It's Bob and Sheri. Sheri.
Kevin can drive now. He has his walking cast is off, and he has a brace that he wears, and he goes to physical therapy, and he can drive, but he really is limited, how much distance he can put on the foot. He has to be super careful. Like the weekend of Easter last week, we did an Easter egg hunt with the kids, and that pretty much was the maximum hopping around that he could do. But he can drive. So yesterday morning, he left to drive to Utah to visit my mom because she just was adamant that I know Kevin's going to come and see me in April. I know he'll be fine. He can drive. He'll be fine. And I told my mom, I don't think so, Mom. I mean, this is not looking good. Of course, this was January, February, but he got in the car yesterday and he's going to take his time. And of course, he got to drive through the path of the eclipse and all of that. And so this weekend, I'm flying out to Utah to see my mom, and he'll already be there, the pampered prince of the desert, with my mom fussing over him and making him little snacks and constantly refilling his glass. So I'm meeting my brother and his wife. They're flying into Salt Lake City from Philly, and I'm flying into Salt Lake City from here, and we're going to meet and drive down to St. George together. My brother and his wife have not had a getaway in 4 years. This is their first time that they're getting away together. Nancy's never been to Utah. She's never been out west. She's never been in the desert. Like, she's so excited. And there I am in the back seat going, hey, lovebirds, can we stop at the next rest stop? I believe in hydration. Hey, lovebirds. Oh, no, I don't like fast food. Is there somewhere else we can go? It is going to be such a scream to third wheel their little romantic getaway. And then we will pull in, because it takes about 4 hours or so to get from Salt Lake to where my mom lives. But you're coming down through like some of the most spectacular countryside. On your right, you've got Zion National Park. On your left, you have Canyonlands and Bryce Canyon. It's like this incredibly beautiful drive through that part of the state. And by the time we get to my mom's, it'll be fairly late because we'll stop a bunch because Nancy will want to look at things and take pictures. And there my mom will be waiting for us with a bottle of wine and the prince of the desert with his leg up being fussed over like the little king. I'm looking forward to a very action-packed weekend.
How many days is that to drive? It's not totally cross country, but it's about 2/3 of the country.
It's a lot. If he were doing it, like if his leg was okay and he was doing it old school, he would drive about 14 hours a day and he could do it in 2.5. But no, he can't do that now. There's no way. He can go maybe 7 or 8 hours before he's got to stop and get his leg up and elevated. I think he probably will take 4 days to get out there.
Yeah,
but
that sounds right.
The thing is, like, in case you're thinking, like, what kind of person who's going through what he's going through wants to drive across the United States of America? But exactly the kind of person that's been cooped up and hasn't been able to do much of anything except watch those sad 2-minute SPCA dog commercials and college basketball and softball and baseball and bowling and table tennis and synchronized swimming and dog shows and chicken shows and cattle auctions. Oh my God, if ever a man needed to get out of the house and look at the highway unspooling in front of him, it's this one. Yeah.
I'm jealous. I've traveled all over the world. I've been very lucky that way. I mean, I've been from here to Hong Kong, and I have never driven across the United States, and it's something that I wanted to do since I was a kid. Since I first heard that song, Route 6, to get your kicks on Route 66. And I've just never had the time because of radio.
I can't tell you how magical it is. I've done it a bunch because as kids, with my parents, we drove back and forth all the time. But as an adult, like, that's what Kevin and I do for fun. Like, if we have a week off, we don't go to the beach. We drive across America and back. And he's really excited because he's going to go out. He's going to go through. There's a bunch of places between where we live and my mom that are loaded with all sorts of cool history, like Fort Smith, Arkansas. That's a Bonnie and Clyde hotspot, So he's going to have himself a little easy does it sort of driving adventure. And he needs desperately to get out of the house.
That's
great.
I
cannot wait. I cannot wait for my brother to see, because I'm like, Mark, I'm telling you, anything but us. Stray dogs, strangers at the grocery store, my husband, Anything But Us is the favorite. Wait till you see it for yourself. It's amazing. And so my brother's like, yeah, I got to lay eyes on this. Like when you pull up and see the prince getting pampered, you're going to be like, well, I love parents.
Well, good for him.
It's Bob and Sheri.